You're working as a software engineer today, you're working as a consultant, or you're working in finance, or you're working in sales, or you're working in any other vertical. You have decided that product management is the right fit for you, and you've started applying to jobs, and you're getting interview calls, and you're acing the product rounds. But then there's this one question that comes up where the interviewer asks you, why do you want to be a PM? This is a question that you've been practicing for a long time. This is something that you've wanted to be perfect at, and your brain is continually asked you to think and make this the perfect answer that you can be. And you want to set a good impression to your interviewer. You want to tell them exactly why you're such a great fit. But then at some point you feel like the interviewer is not going to buy your answer. Let's see how we can tackle that today. Before we move ahead, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Subscribing to the channel makes everybody else more and more motivated to keep bringing you cooler and cooler stuff, which can actually accelerate your product journey. So how exactly are you supposed to frame this particular answer? What you need to do is take two things. One is all the work experiences that you've had, whether it be professional or whether it be in school or college. Think about what are those aspects in those work experiences, what are those responsibilities that you had, which have some relation to what, say, a product manager does on a day-to-day basis. Right? Take all of this, then think about what are you interested in, what are those things that you are curious about, and essentially marry these two, and then make a pitch for why this combination of what your experiences are plus what you're interested in makes you believe that you would be a great fit and that the next career move is going to be in product management. Before moving ahead, one thing to remember is that it's completely okay to not come from a pure product background or not have product experience. Interviewers are looking for people who don't have the right product experience. Oftentimes when we go on interview, we have something called as an imposter syndrome, wherein we believe that we are not worthy of what we are aiming for or what we are expecting or what is expected out of us, and as a result of which we end up anxious and nervous and we don't perform well in the interview. Remember that interviewers are at all points very open to look for people who don't come from product backgrounds or who don't have product experience. In fact, the best PMs are actually not from any product background. They are from customer support, sales, marketing, liberal arts backgrounds, and so many other types of backgrounds. Alright, so let's see how we can frame that answer. In my previous role as Dash, I was responsible for 5 key aspects. And out of these 5 aspects, I enjoyed 2 of those much more than the other 3. And the reasons why I enjoyed them were Dash. For example, let's say you were a consultant. And as a consultant, you enjoyed, let's say, the research part and the road mapping part, wherein you had to provide a roadmap to your company's clients. And you enjoyed this because it made you think big. It made you think about the company's strengths, weaknesses, competition, and then suggest to them what their next course of action for the next 3 to 5 years has to be. Now, what you can say is this. As a consultant, my main responsibility was to provide recommendations to my clients in order to improve their business in X area. You can include whatever project that you've worked on in this particular blank. Then you talk about what you actually did, and then you talk about what are those things that you enjoyed. So then you say, my key responsibilities were understanding the problem, wherein I would do primary and secondary research. Then I would think about maybe if there is any data analysis that I need to do. Then I'd move into thinking through solutions, then making the final recommendation. And then once I make the recommendation, I move on to, say, the next project. Now, within these 5 activities, I enjoyed doing, say, 2 of those. One is the research side and the other was the road mapping side. And why I liked the research side was because it allowed me to kind of put on the hat of a detective, wherein I kind of went underneath the scenes, spoke to people, figured out the real, maybe the problems within the company. And why I liked road mapping was because I was able to put on the hat of, say, a ship captain, wherein I was able to steer that ship, or rather I was able to give directions in terms of what the next step should be. So we've now spoken about why you like the 2 aspects out of the other 3, but also, if possible, try and mention why some of the other aspects, some of the aspects of your current role are something that, say, you are not a best fit for. For example, something like, I don't really enjoy the fact that as soon as I give a recommendation, I have to move out of that project. I don't really like the fact that I'm not able to see that project till its completion, till the implementation. In a sense, I'm not able to see the fruits of my labor. And that's something that I want to change in my career. Now, putting it this way kind of has almost partly convinced the interviewer that, okay, fine, you've already done a few things that a product manager actually does, and you enjoy doing that. Plus, you have something that is not working for you in your current role, which is going to work for you as a product manager, which is that you are not able to see it till the end of the project. As a PM, you will definitely see it till the end of the project, and possibly even like take that one product, one feature, and kind of work on it for about 6 to 12 months. So the only piece that you can add here is what your interests are. So what you can say here is, as I was working through X and Y projects, I got interested in, say, a few areas. Let's say consumer behavior for one. And you got to actually talk about why you got interested in consumer behavior. You can't really say something like, I just got interested in it and just leave it at that. You have to talk about maybe an actual project where you did something, and because of that, you kind of got interested in it. So you essentially include your work-X and why the activities in your work-X you kind of enjoyed, and then you bring in your interests. And what you end up essentially doing is that you say that throughout all of these experiences, I've kind of realized that I want to continue to do what I love, which is road mapping, which is customer research. Stick on till the end of the project, not just leave as soon as I give the recommendation. And also because I'm interested in, say, consumer behavior, I believe that product management, the field of product management, is the next career choice for me, or is the best fit for me. Let's take one more example. Let's say you are working as a software engineer. Now, what you can say is that for the past, say, year or 2 years or whatever amount of time, I've been working as a software engineer at, say, this particular company. As part of my role, I use technology to solve problems. I truly enjoy bringing smooth and delightful experiences to our customer on the app or website using technology. But what I also enjoy, or what I enjoy more, is the big picture thinking, which is, why are our customers using this feature versus not using something else? Why are we building only this feature? Why are the metrics high or low at a certain point in day, certain point of the year? And why are the customers behaving in a certain way versus not behaving in another? So given this interest, I, in my current role, have taken opportunities either working with my own PM or working with other teams, or even taking some courses so that I can learn more about this particular space. And so given this particular interest of mine and the fact that I have worked in tech, or I've worked as a software engineer, meaning that I understand technology, I understand development, and that I can empathize with the software engineering team, I believe that the next best career choice is going to be product management. If you notice the above two answers, there are a few key questions that you're essentially answering by putting it in such a framework. Number one, you're saying that you've already done a few activities that a product manager already does. By this, you're essentially alleviating the fear that the interviewer might have, wherein they might be thinking, does this person really know what they're trying to get into? Or is this person, just someone who has, say, answered the interview questions really well, but doesn't really know what they're getting into? Or is this person someone who has done the job, is an expert at that job? Okay, that is first. The second piece is, when you say that you're interested in something that aligns with what a product manager does, it further strengthens your candidature, because it kind of signals to the interviewer that you're someone who's not here or who doesn't want to move to product management for, say, the short term. You're someone who's going to be in here for the long term. And obviously anybody who wants to continue in product management who's here for the long term is someone who will be preferred by any hiring manager. You're not just saying that your passion and interest is why you want to become a PM, but you're also showing proof as to what you've done, what you're good at, and your interests, which make all of these make product management a great fit for you. You're painting this nice, beautiful picture about yourself. So that's essentially the framework. That's it. It's a very simple framework. It's one that is going to do wonders to you. What I'd recommend is that you actually go home, or rather if you're at home, possibly just think about this today, tomorrow, or during the weekend. Think about what are those things that you have done or you are currently doing in your role which have a relation to what a product manager does, right? You could very simply just Google what are the roles and responsibilities of a product manager, and then kind of think through what are those similarities. Once you do that, just frame your answer and obviously keep practicing that answer. So hope that was helpful. If you've watched till this far, again, a request for you to go and subscribe to the channel. Until the next one, bye-bye.